Hey, this is Draffet store, and this is the last Draffet store from 52. Like I said, it is not, well, 52 episodes, because we know full well that it's not, but it is the last week, so it is, 52. Now, I'm adjusting this because it don't look like I'm right. I'm doing it off my new camera. And you're going to get a close-up of my face. Alright, I have a list. And I'm going to try to cut them short because I actually did this video twice and ran out on the second time of batteries, actually. So we'll start with the Pope leaving office. And the way he did it. Well, he's the first Pope that's done this in a long time, and come to find out it's been under scandal, not health issues. Do I agree with it? I don't agree with the Vatican, period, because I'm not Catholic, and because, well, it's not the easiest subject to talk about, because it is religion, and the fact that a lot of people don't agree with, that they would rather believe that their religious leaders are really truly beneficial when it is shown that they're not. Then we'll go on to Hugo Chavez. Honestly, I have no opinion of the man outside of the fact that I do believe he did the right thing by telling Big Oil to get the fuck out of his country. His personal, I did do some research on him, not a whole lot, but it's a matter of opinion, on what type of person he actually was. The United States and countries like the United States say he's a dictator, but he has there's shown no signs of him being truly a dictator. Osama bin Laden, Muammar Gaddafi, Noriega, those were dictators. He's actually gone out of his way to, do what was beneficial for his country from everything I've seen. Kim Il-sung, another dictator. We need to prove positive that he's a dictator because there's food shortages while his rich, and powerful military and himself, sitting around, doing whatever. I'm actually going to add one to this, being North Korea, but I will get to that later. Libya. And speaking of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, I think that was a whole load of horseshit. I don't think he was killed by his own people. I think he was killed by government sponsored. When I mean government, I mean NATO or USCIA government sponsored and funded individuals who wanted him out of the way for whatever reason, whether it's the oil or the gold that comes out of Libya, in control of it, because afterwards there was a whole lot more corruption possibility after his death than anything else. The Mayan calendar proved to be false. I think it's just a bunch of end-of-the-worlders and other types that want to create dissent, hoping that they get a profit out of it. Bank fallout in Europe. That's what happens when you get a centralized banking system that does have anybody's interest but their own involved. You get riots in Greece, Spain, Portugal. You get Iceland that tells them to take a flying leap off a short pier, gets rid of all of government officials that supported them and replaces them, and now is prosperous because of it. Iran and nukes. I think that Iran should have the possibility of having nukes. It levels the playing field. And say that, why? Because India has no problem dropping a nuke on people that it disagrees with, and they are our ally. The United States has used nuclear or atomic weapons in the past. There's no reason that anybody else should not be able to, since we are able to stockpile them. Russia, who is, we are now, in one of these, we're not sure situations, has, some form of, stockpile. China, probably, quite possibly has their own. So why is there a Middle Eastern country that we're saying no to? Because our ally Israel, who has caused more issues in the Middle East than solutions, doesn't want to get their ass burned for the atrocities that they're committing. Anonymous. Don't know exactly who Anonymous is, hence the reason Anonymous. They do go around with the Guy Fawkes mask. And they're hacktivists, or supposed to hacktivists, because there's some internet speculation that they might be government funded to cause issues, so that government has a right to put laws on the internet. My belief on Anonymous, if they're really hacktivists and they are doing this for a legitimate reason, keep going, guys. There's too much corruption in the world governments that you've hit that need to be brought to light to the people, and the only way it's going to be done is by hacking their systems. And I'm not a hacker by any standards, so I can't say that I support them from that, because hackers do have in the past have caused a lot of personal anguish to a lot of individuals. But these people seem to be aimed at governments around the world that sponsor big so and big oil. So if you are legitimately anonymous, doing what's right, go for it. If you're not, well, I can't stop you. I mean, I could if I knew who you were, but I'm not, I'm not in a position to. Let's see. That leaves North Korea, which I added to this list. With Kim Il-jung dying and his son, his 28-year-old son, taking over, with still military personnel and generals that were his father's, trying to get control of this so that they could have their, whatever. We've been in, a stalemate with them since the 50s. There's not been a, good or bad situation about to have us go back in there. Do I agree with it? It's politics. I don't agree with a lot of politics. Do I believe with them having communist, North having communist, or the South? Hey, if they want to be disenfranchised and separated, that's up to them. My country does not need to be playing referee for half of this shit like we do, and actually would cause more issues than we're worth. And when I mean my country, I mean my government creates more issues than we're worth. Do I agree with the choices that have been going over there as ambassadors? Hillary Clinton and Dennis Rodman. Oh, no, not really. I mean, is there probably somebody who's better suited to go over there? Yes. But it's a situation, we have no idea what's actually going on outside of satellite footage and, people trying to escape. It's just, third person or second person stating what's going on when it may or may not. But there's more of a chance of North Korea nuking us than any other country. And lastly, 3 main shootings from last year. In past attempts to try to make this video, I've gone in length about these because, like I said, I am not for gun control. I support the U.S. Constitution, even though I disagree with certain parts of it. I wholeheartedly support it, and the gun situation is one of them. The 3 main I'm talking about are Colorado, Sandy Hook, and the mall shooting that happened just before Sandy Hook. 2 of them made a lot of mainstream media coverage, while the third one, the mall shooting, in my eyes, is the only legitimate actual shooting. The other 2 have too much bullshit wrapped around them to be considered legitimate. Now, I'm not saying that people didn't die. I'm saying that there was too much information being left out by the police, let people know what is going on. And what I mean by that is, one of the things from the Colorado after it happened that I found out was that there was information in Colorado news, local news, that stated that there was possibly two or more people involved, not just him. And the information included an extra gas mask found on the other side of the building where he did not come in from. A victim stabbed to death on the other side where this gas mask was found, that he did not, come in at, where he was found, and where most of the shooting was on around the corner from this. And the fact that he was in his car in a dazed state and did not shoot himself like most people in this situation do. And I mean, a clear-cut motive for it, why he did it. I mean, I can go into the fact that he was in this psychological program that could have caused it, him to go nuts. The fact that some of the internet stipulation states that his father was to, and this is the other thing for Sandy Hook, that persons involved in these shootings, the shooter themselves had family members that were involved in criminal proceedings or investigations into the criminal proceedings on a congressional level, and their fathers were detrimental testimonial to said case. AE looks like a spy movie. Sandy Hook. There's too much bullshit around this one too. The fact that it was done down the road from a drill happening, which screams foul for the third time. First time, 9/11. Second time, July 7th in Great Britain. Third time, Sandy Hook. To the fact that politically, there's political motivation for it. To ban supposed assault rifles. Now, the AR-15 is not an assault rifle. AR in AR-15 stands for Art Fight, which is the original manufacturer of the AR-15. The AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon, which does not categorize it as an assault rifle. And I am not even a gun aficionado. I did a lot of research on this, and I've had actual gun aficionados and people tell me what states an assault rifle and what does not. An assault rifle is an M16 and its kin. Weapons that go fully automatic. An AR-15 can be used for hunting, or for you know, governmental things, but is not specifically an assault rifle because it holds either one burst or semi-automatic burst, like an M1 carbine, which was used in World War II by the United States military, but it is not an assault rifle. It can be dolled up to look like an M16 and an assault rifle by changing the stocks, the butt, hand grips, putting on a different scope and barrel. But it is not, because if you go to buy an AR-15 at, say, Dunham's or Dick's or a gun store, it will look totally different than the AR-15 that Feinstein has been pushing. And I think Feinstein should be held accountable for her actions as treason, because she, for a political figure, is set to destroy something that she held an oath of office to support, the U.S. Constitution. Now, I'm 43 years old. I have seen, or have had, 5 people in my life, or 5 or 6 people in my life that have been killed by guns. I have not personally seen it in person or have had a gun going off. I've gone 43 years, okay, without seeing a stabbing, a shooting, somebody strangled, poisoned, maliciously poisoned, not accidentally poisoned. Okay, all of my situations are second-person scenarios. So to have a government official tell me that you have to sign this so that we can give you this, where the Constitution states I have the freedom to bear this weapon, is wrong. My personal opinion is this: the only reason why they want people to register their weapons is the same reason why Nazi Germany wanted people to register their weapons. Is they have a list in a book of lists of people that they hit first to take away their guns. Now, in the 20th anniversary of Waco, which I did not support, the ATF going in and killing a bunch of people to keep their job, and that's pretty much what the ATF did then, because they had too much room to apprehend Koresh for his crimes. And Ruby Ridge, there was way too many situations, and these people were supposedly murdered for gun control because they armed themselves with way too many weapons that the government stated, the U.S. government stated, it isn't right. Well, I'm sorry. I believe in the U.S. Constitution. I believe in the Michigan militia should have the right to defend Michigan property from an attack from outside sources. I believe the Ohio militia should have the right to defend Ohio. Do I need to keep going on? California, Oregon, Washington. And that those attacks can come from outside sources. That defense can come from somebody breaking into a house, somebody stealing, from the old police force, the old military, to outside police forces and militaries, the UN, cartels. And by rights, the U.S. citizens should be able to arm themselves in defense, because it takes too long for a police officer to show up. Where now they're investigating a murder to find a subject that is now running from the law, that committed a crime illegally. Where if that person had a gun, and knew how to use that gun responsibly. And I understand that there's so many situations where a burglar has broken into a home and been killed by said burglar with their own weapon. But there's been so many situations where burglary attempts have been, or break-ins have been attempted by people. They did not know that a person was home, and that person was able to arm themselves and take out a defender, or and defend themselves from said attacker. There have been situations where people have been killed by the police wrongly, and no compensation has been, because they got the wrong directions. Because there was one east, west, same name, same addresses, and they were supposed to go to west and not the east. I can go through and get, with Freedom of Information, all sorts of information that proves either side of the story. In the end, this is draffet. This is draffet store, and it should be just done right. And all these things I've talked about here, and it's never been done right. With that, bye.